All right, alerts going out to thousands of Georgians that they could be removed from voting rolls. The removal of voters is now part of a federal investigation. That comes after complaints that it kept people from voting in the 2018 gubernatorial race. Now a new law is requiring officials to alert you before they take you off those voter rolls. 11 Live's Elwin Lopez is breaking this down. Elwin, explain to us why one county in particular is handling this differently from other counties.
Yeah, Cheryl, this all started. Stacey Abrams led the effort to sue the state of Georgia after she narrowly lost the governor's race to former Secretary of State Brian Kemp. She claimed that thousands of people were illegally removed from the polls. That lawsuit's still ongoing, by the way, as of today. It was enough to get the attention of the Democratic-led House Committee on Oversight and Reform, which demanded Georgia hand over documents related to the voter removals this past spring. Around that same time, Governor Kemp signed a new law which addresses the issue moving forward. Among other things, it requires voters be notified before they're removed. Here's how it works. If you haven't voted in the last two general elections, the state has the right to cancel your registration. But the law requires the state to notify you by mail first to give you a chance to confirm whether you're an active voter. The state is directly notifying voters in every county except Gwinnett.
The only difference in Gwinnett County is the notification they provide. Gwinnett County is required to provide all voting information in English and Spanish, and so we provide the documentation to Gwinnett County so that they can translate it and make it available to all their citizens.
So why is Gwinnett the exception? It's due to the high percentage of Hispanic voters. The county is required by federal law to provide election information in both English and Spanish. Now, the state says this adds to their effort in being transparent about the process, and they're encouraging people to look online to make sure your information is correct. Last November, there were reports of issues at the polls due to mistakes with misspelled as well as hyphenated names. Jeff?
All right, Ellen, thank you. Georgia's